Hi there. In this video, I'll quickly look at general journal transactions. I'll also memorize the transactions, a transaction that is, find a transaction, delete the transaction or change it, and remove the memorized transaction. So I'm presently at my chart of accounts. I can just close that, or I can just go home and leave it open. To get to my general journal, I go to Company and Make General Journal Entries. The date that I'm going to be using for this general journal transaction, I'm going to be making a monthly loan payment on March 15th, 2016. So my system tray is day, month, year. So it is March 15th, so 15. And any delimiter, I'm just going to use space because my hand's on the main part of the keyboard, 3 and 16th. So again, my system tray, the date is displayed as day, month, year. It has to match what your workstation is set up as. When I hit tab, pops in the day, pops in the date that is, and I can double check the order, March 15th. This is not an adjusting entry. I'm going to be debiting my insurance expense. Oh, sorry, no, this is my loan, so I'll debit my loan, which is a liability. So I'll just scroll down. There we are, term loan. You could actually just type in TE and it should pop up. And the loan payment is $500. And for my memo, I'll say monthly loan payment or something like that. It's pretty obvious what you're doing, so you don't really need a memo. And then I'll credit my bank account, which is Royal Bank for this one. Now this happens monthly, so if you have any transactions that happen at a regular interval that you always use the same amount, you can just, of course, memorize. And I'm going to call this monthly loan payment or some such thing. And I'm going to add it to my reminders list, so it'll show up in company reminders. And I'm going to make this monthly. The next date is April 15th. So again, I'm day, month, year, so it's 15/4/16. April 15th. And I choose OK. Makes a little camera sound. And I choose Save and Close. Now, it's now April 15th, and I want to pay that loan again, so I quickly go to the lists. This is another list, much like the chart of accounts that we saw earlier. And I go to Memorize Transaction List, or you can access it with a Control-T. There it is there. So if I just simply double-click on it, it now brings that general journal entry up, and I can just go ahead and save it new. And I'm going to close that. So we look at our bank statement and we realize that we had already paid off that loan. So that last payment we made was superfluous. We didn't need to make that payment. So I want to find that payment and delete that payment. So one way you can find things is under the Edit Find, and I'll show you a bunch of other ways as we work. If you want to find a general journal transaction, you use Journal, and then it was for $500, so I could just enter $500 here. We also know it was on the 15th of April, so we could just use 15th of April. I choose Find. There's the two $500. I'm just going to quickly reset that and show you the date. So again, mine is day, month, year, 15/4/16. I tab out of the field, and now I choose Find, and there it is there. I could just simply double-click on it to open it up, or click once and go to, whatever you like to do. So again, it turns out that we had already paid off our loan, so we don't need to make this payment. So I'm just going to quickly delete this payment. Or you could void or reverse, whatever you like to do. I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And I choose OK. Now, we don't want to make another payment on that loan again because we've already paid it. So I'm going to close my Make General Journal Entries window here. I'm close my find window. You could actually just leave them open, but just for good housekeeping, I like to close them. Now, so I want to delete that recurring transaction as well. So if I go back to lists, memorize transaction list, and I want to remove that, so I can just click once to select it and go edit, delete, or Control D. So that is using the general journal to make transactions, save those if they happen at regular intervals using the same amounts as a memorized transaction, as well as recalling them, finding them, changing them, or deleting them as we did in our case, and deleting memorized transactions. Now we can take a look at that transaction by looking at the general journal report. So if I go to Reports, Accountant and Taxes, and down here on Journal, I know you can't see it's popping off, but you can say the GAOU, I guess, and I'll choose OK. And I want to look at only March of 2016. So again, I'm day month year 1/3/16 to 31/3/16. So those are all of the transactions for my general journal that happened between those dates. There's my monthly loan payment. If I need to take a closer look at it, I could just double click on the transaction number there. Opens up in a account register for the term loan account. If I want to actually see the transaction, I can click on edit transaction, and there I'm back at the transaction. So if I need to make changes here, for example, if it was only $400, not $5, I could just make those changes and save and close if I like. It was indeed supposed to be 500, so I'm just going to change it back. But in order to edit, all you do is just change and save. But I didn't need to do that, so I'm just going to close it. And the account register. And the report. I'm going to say do not display this message in the future. Actually, I do look at memorized reports in a later video, so I'm just going to leave this up, but I'm not going to memorize anything to that point in time. All right, so that's creating general journal transactions. Thanks so much for watching.